We're going to begin the services in about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. So if there's anybody outside in the foyer that needs to come in and sit down, or if you need to use the restroom, now would be the time, so we're ready to begin. Well, welcome, friends and family, to the celebration of life for Kason James Madsen. We'd like to thank everybody for being here, for your support, for your love. We'd like to begin the service with an opening prayer by Ron van der Zanden, Lori's dad, after which Lori Madsen will speak, followed by Kelsey Madsen, the mom and dad.
I'm Casey's grandpa and Lori's dad. And I'd like to thank everybody that's coming here and supporting Lori and Kelsey and Kaylin and the rest of the family. And Kelsey asked me to open the prayer, and because Kason, for some reason, was fond of me. And so I said I'd be honored to do it, but I said, I don't know if I'll get through it. So if I break up or something, just bear with me. And then I told Kelsey, I said I'd make it less than an hour. So, so first I'd like to just ask the Lord to be with Kelsey and Kaylin and Lori in these trying times, and with all of us, our family and friends, that it's a tough time and I don't have answers for everything. I just trust in the Lord with all my heart that He will make my path straight. Thank you for being here again. I'd like to start off with the Our Father. If you know it, if you want to hold hands for a show of united strength for Kason, that'd be fine. So join in if you want. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And as I was, when Kelsey asked me to do this, I asked the Lord to help me, with what to say. And a couple verses came into mind. The first one was Revelations 21, where God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. And for Kason, the pain that he was feeling must have been overwhelming. And I just ask you for comfort in that. And the next verse was from Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And you might wonder what the love chapter has to do with Kason. Oh, Kason was all of those. He was kind. He never said a bad word about anybody. He loved people. So that was Kason, that chapter. And and as we went through this, and I know as Kelsey and Lori and Kaylin went through this, it was friends and family that really brought comfort in times of need. And anything that people wanted to do and ask for, they were there. And we were on a bus trip, and when people found out that we had a loss in the family, they just loved us, and they asked if they could do anything. And one of them that I liked text me, and she said, sending you both a hug. May your memories give you comfort to hold him in your hearts and give you comfort in the days to come. And that really means a lot, to have people just be there for us. And it's the memories that I will hold on to. And I remember one day when I was babysitting Kason, he was younger, taking care of him, and he wanted something that he couldn't have. And being the good grandpa that I was, I said, no, you can't have that, Kason. And he looked at me and he went around and he hid behind the curtains. And I looked around and I said, I see you there, Kason, but you're still not going to get your way. And after a minute or so, he knew Grandpa wasn't going to give in. And he got out. But one thing I didn't do that I regret to this day, I didn't give him a hug and tell him I loved him. That would have meant so much to me. And I'm learning that's important. Whatever you think, just make sure that you hug and love the people that are around you. And I remember times we went fishing. I love that. And gave him a tractor ride and at the hunting land, we were playing games, and when we were racing his trucks and cars in the backyard. So that's Kason, and I'll always love Kason, and I'll never forget. I'll always remember him. God bless him. Take care of him.
Getting ready here. I'm just going to look down so I can get through this. We'll see if it happens. If I have a long pause, just somebody please say a corny dad joke so I can feel Kason's eyes rolling, and then I can keep going. First and foremost, just thank you all for being here. I'm sure I can speak for my whole family when I say the outpouring of love and support we have received is just beyond amazing and beyond words. People literally dropped what they were doing to drive and fly out to see us and be here for Kason. To the MacArthurs, thank you for taking such good care of my sweet boy. From the bottom of our hearts, truly just thank you. I would say the three most frequent words used to describe Kason are kind, sweet, and smart. Just being in his presence would fill your hearts. He would do anything for anybody if he knew it would make them happy, except unload the dishwasher. Kason, he was due on February 8th. It did seem like he was coming anytime soon. I had no signs that he was on his way. So I went downstairs to get breakfast for Kaylin on February 8th, and Kelsey jumped in the shower. Probably less than 10 minutes later, holy nonstop contractions. I curled in a ball on the floor, said every explicit known to man and then some, sorry, Kaylin, and told her to run upstairs and tell Kelsey we need to go to the hospital now. Kason was born on the morning of February 8th. This has always been a very special day for Kelsey. You see, February 8th is his mom's birthday, who left this world when Kelsey was a child. It hit me this last Friday that it wasn't his mom, science, divine intervention, or anything else. But the reason he was born on that day was because Kason was giving his daddy the first of many gifts. He knew it would mean the world to his dad if he entered this world the same day as his grandma Etta, so he did. Even though it also meant hearing the first very loud word out of mommy's mouth was one that rhymed with duck, it was worth it 1,000,000 times over. I wanted to share some of my happiest and favorite memories with you guys, but in all honesty, they're all my happiest and favorites. I think it was when Kason was maybe 6 that he finally made it on the charts for weight, like maybe the 5th percentile. He would walk around as a toddler all the time, and his pants would just fall down. He would have to roll his pants over about 5 times to get them to stay up when he started school, so his pants always looked like high waters. Kaylin was all of his entertainment growing up. Anyone who knows Kason knows it doesn't take much to keep him happy. Ask his Auntie Lisa, who would read him all the latest celebrity gossip when he was at her house, and he would just snuggle up to her and eat it all up. Kaylin could do pretty much anything, and he would just stare at her in awe. She was always making him laugh, doing just the simplest things. It would be this high-pitched, almost scream. He couldn't even contain his joy around her. Once she was playing a game on her tablet, and he wanted to watch her and sit next to her, like he always did. And she said no just this one time. So he climbed on the top of the back part of the couch and watched her from there anyway. Your Google Slides and everything he loved those too. Kelsey and I worked opposite shifts until Kason was in first grade, so we both got a lot of one-on-one time with him and a lot with Kaylin and me. We had very different experiences with him, as Kelsey and I are polar opposites. When Kason was with just me, we would snuggle, read books, do math flashcards, play games, go to the park, or swimming. Our later sleepovers would consist of watching 1,000-Pound Sisters and going to bed early. Kelsey will tell of more adventurous times with him. Even though Kason was a night owl and would rather watch YouTube, he knew I enjoyed sleep and stupid shows, so he would snuggle up and do it for me anyway, even if it sometimes took a bribe of a Family Dollar run for snacks of his choosing. In elementary school, he would use his school money to buy me water bottle stickers instead of getting things for himself. One of my most cherished memories was our car rides on the way to school when it was just the two of us. We had so many hearts to hearts, and that's when he would open up a lot to me. We would jam to 2000s rock, and I would say, Kason, who sings this song? And 9 times out of 10, he knew. Kason reached more people than anyone else I know. His community was definitely his online gaming community. They just got him and got to see this other side of him that most people didn't get to enjoy. I got to be in a couple of his videos, and one was where I was playing his favorite game with him for the first time. We had so much fun and laughed so much, even though I had no idea what I was doing, as it shows in his video. My gaming skills are limited to the Oregon Trail and classic Nintendo. I know, Broseph, I'm so old. He kept updating me on how many views our video got, which I think got to over 2,000. He'd probably be wondering how many views this live stream was getting. You'll be happy to know, Bud, that the last time I checked, your obituary was at over 10,000 views. Your subs are telling you to fly high, little doggy. You are forever loved. Kason, not bye. Good night, I love you.
This might be a quiet talk. As Lori mentioned, Kason was born on my mom's birthday. My mom passed when I was 12, and she was the light of my life as far as I knew. He'd always go with me, and he'd put flowers on her headstone, and he knew how special Grandma Etta is, and I know she was the first one to welcome him with open arms. But as Lori mentioned, Kayla came up into the shower and knocked on the bathroom door, and I was in the shower, and Mom says we have to go right now. And I was like, oh crap. And so I immediately got out of the shower and I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Mom's downstairs on the floor crying. And I said, okay, let's. And I didn't know what was going on. So I walked down there and I'm having contractions. So we loaded up the car, and by the time we got to the hospital, she couldn't even walk. We had to go get a wheelchair, and the first thing that the nurse did is you're having this baby right now, and she's like, give me an epidural. It's too late for that, and that was not Lori's plan. And so Kason was ready. That sums up Kason to a T. Is he gets his stubbornness from his mom and his dad. If you know either of us, you can't make us do anything. And so we'll do the opposite. So Kason was ready, and he said, Mom, you ain't getting anything. But I'm ready to come. And within 20 minutes of coming to the hospital, he was already here. So we barely made it there. I was about ready to deliver him in the car on the side of the freeway. It was close. And Kason's my little mini-me. I mean, he's my best friend. We did everything together. Lori worked every weekend for the first 6 years of his life. So all my friends in here, thank you. He let me pal Kason around. Those were some of the best memories. And while we're on the mountain, his number one thing was spicy chips and bug juice. And so we'd go check trail cameras. We'd pal him around, my brother and a couple of our buddies, and in his early years. And we'd take turns either, depending on how hot it was, where we were hunting is out in the desert. It's 105, 110 degrees out there some days in the middle of the summertime. And so while we were out scouting, it's like, Jared, just I'll stay in the truck, keep the AC going. I'll run in real quick and check this camera. But Kason and Tyler, they never wanted to stay in the truck. They wanted to come. And so we'd hike miles and miles, checking 20, 30 trail cameras in a day. And Kason just he didn't want to miss out on anything. I tried to, bring his games and things like that, but he always wanted to hike in and just be by my side, and didn't want to miss anything. A lot of times I'd have to pack him on my shoulders because he'd just get too worn out and it was too hot, and he had such a passion and love for the mountains. But if you know Kason, he did not like dirt. He did not want to get dirty. He wanted to have something to wash his hands when we got to the truck, and I still have bottles of hand sanitizer and wet wipes in my truck for him. And then, so I'd been putting in for a bear hunt for 7 or 8 years. I think he was 4 or 5 at the time. And and Lori this was still when she was working weekends. And so my buddy McCade and Jake and everybody and up on their ranch on Cedar Mountain, they let me come up there and try to find a bear. And Kason spent the whole summer up there with us, looking for bears. And that's where he started his love for sandwiches with lots of stuff. And so his go-to whenever we were on the mountain is we'd have sandwiches with lots of stuff, spicy chips and cookies. And so I always made sure that if I wanted Kason to go, that was the bribe to get him to go, is we're going to have sandwiches with lots of stuff. And we'd load the cooler full of, you would think he was an adult by how he ate. He wanted purple onions and pickles and spicy mustard and every cheese and meat that we could find, but no tomatoes. Do not put tomato on a sandwich. He does not like tomatoes. But during that bear hunt, I flew my mother-in-law out, Linda, to come stay with Kason so that I could be a selfish dad and go on a hunt for 2 weeks. And we weren't able to get it. And so one of my best friend, McCade's, his dad, JB, called me. He said, "Get your butt up here. I'll watch Kason." I said, "No, he's like, if you know JB, he's a big burly man. You would be like, man, you want your 4-year-old with this guy?" He's a big old bear. But Kason didn't see him that way. JB is the biggest teddy bear, and Kason saw everybody that way. He always saw, their hearts and wasn't intimidated by people. He saw what they were for them true selves. And so I said, "All right, we'll come up there." And so within a couple hours, me and Kason were on the road up to Cedar Mountain, and me and McCade got there, and Kason, we spent a little time, and he'd been around JB, but not one-on-one with him. And so I was like, "You good, buddy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And so me and McCade took off, and within an hour, there was a shot, and next thing you know, here comes JB with Kason on his shoulders packing down the mountain, and Kason didn't want to miss out. And if you saw where this bear was, it was in some steep black timber country, and Kason didn't want to miss out on being able to see that bear. And still to this day, those are some of best memories of on that hunt. But and then as Kason got older, Lori mentioned his YouTube channel, but I am sorry, I blame me, bud. I grew up playing every Nintendo and things like that, and so that was kind of our connection at home. Is I hate being inside, and so that was kind of our thing that we started together. And now if you go in his room, he's got his gaming station set up, he's got his Xbox in there. He loved the electronics, and we were trying to put some pictures on a thumb drive for this thing, and I don't know how I couldn't even figure out how to put a file on a thumb drive, and so Kason's always been my go-to for helping me with anything like that, and it was a struggle. But Kason started his YouTube channel really got serious into it a little over a year ago, posting his gaming and things like that, and he loved his YouTube channel. He got to where now he's just shy of 40,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, and I remember the first time he got paid, he was so excited. I don't know, he would roll his eyes right now if I was talking about this, but I don't know what it is to get. You have to meet certain criteria, but he was so excited, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then the first month he hit $1,000 in making money on his YouTube channel. You should have seen the look on his face. He was so proud of himself. He worked so hard. If he didn't want to do something, he's just like his dad. Good luck getting him to do something. But if he liked it, he'll put his whole heart and soul into it. And so he worked so hard on that, and I'm just so proud of him for just following his passion and doing what he loved. Kind of all over the place, and then Kaylin, he loved you so much. He looked up to you so much. So much. I love you. Kason lived his life by loving everyone, no matter what. If someone did something wrong, he's not a rat. He didn't want them to get in trouble. He would try to help them the best he could, even though that they were the ones that did something wrong. He just had such a huge passion and heart for helping others. And he just taught me so much. If anyone ever drives with me, you'll understand that I have a short temper when it comes to driving. And Kason, Dad, don't get so mad. Like, I'm just like, I don't do well with drivers in this town. And so he was always trying to calm me down. And, Dad, it's okay. We'll get there. And so I would just turn the music up and just mumble under my breath so that he couldn't hear me. and he was always trying to just make everybody calm and happy. And Kason loved our sleepovers. He always asked and looked forward to almost every weekend. Dad, can we have a sleepover this weekend? And he knew what was coming. What does Mom say? And go ask your mom. And so the go-to, Lori's fine, like, quit telling him to ask me. And I'm just like, and so Mom says, I don't need to ask anymore. It's just yes. And so basically she put it all back on me if we were having a sleepover or not. And so, which I'm so glad. There's a Family Dollar literally 2 blocks from our house. And so those walks down to Family Dollar to go get snacks, if you know me and Kason, we love our ice cream, popcorn, and chips. And so we'd go load up on all that, spicy chips and Takis and spicy popcorn, and we'd stay up late we told Mom we were only staying up till 11 or 12, but really it was 1 or 2. Sorry. But those nights are some of the nights where he was just happy. He was himself. He was so quiet. But if you talk gaming or anything that he had a passion for, he'd talk your ear off and explain every last little detail to you over and over and over. His stories were not generalized. You knew exactly what happened at that second, and then this, and then this, and oh, I'm gonna miss our sleepovers, bud. And then this past year, I drew my hunt, my tag of a lifetime. I waited 22 years for. He knew how much it meant to me. It's for the Poncegon archery deer tag, and I was so excited. And by this time, Kason, I had burned Kason out hiking miles and miles and miles when he was younger, and he loved the mountains. He's like, Dad, we'll go camping, we'll go fishing, but I don't want to hike. So he did not love going hunting with me unless it was on the rifle hunt. On the rifle hunt, he was okay because I don't really enjoy the rifle hunt. I'll go on it, but that was more of a family hunt to me, and so I'd take him on the rifle hunt, and he loved that because we just veg out and rock out and drive roads. But this was an archery hunt, and he knew how much I hike on the archery hunt. But he decided he wanted to come this year, and so he spent the whole summer up on the mountain with me. For weekends and weekends. And he did things he didn't like just to put a smile on my face and to be with me. He always liked staying in a trailer, and I was like, Bud, I got too much scouting to do. I got too big of an area to look at, and I don't want to take a trailer up there yet because I want to be mobile. And so I was just sleeping in the bed of my truck. I'd go up there and sleep in the bed of my truck on the weekends, and he did that one time. He said, I'm not going if this is how it's going to be. And so he said, there was just dust everywhere. And to me, it's just like, whatever, like roll out your sleeping bag. It's not dusty inside. We came home a day early. So after that, I started taking the tent, and so we'd stay in a tent. That way it wasn't dusty. But he spent the whole summer up there with me, and I hunted that for 12 days without him, the first 12 days of the hunt. And then I came home for a couple of days, and I went back up, and my brother was going to bring him up there. And I decided to go out and look. I wasn't planning on harvesting anything. I was just going up there to look, and I ended up finding a deer I couldn't pass up, and one that we had seen all summer, and I ended up harvesting it. And I just wish he could have been there for it. He spent so much time and texted me all the time when I was up there. Did you get him yet, Dad? I was going after one particular deer, and I would have waited a day, but he was there in spirit now, I know. But there's so many memories. I could be up here for weeks talking about how amazing he is. Everybody knows how amazing he is. I really just want to, if nothing else, I just want to leave a message that be kind. Please be kind to people. Be kind. Kason was so kind to everybody. He was so loved. He just wanted nothing but good things in this life, and there's so much bad in it. And if everybody could just be a little kinder to one another, instead of being snippy on some post or doing this or making some rude comment, just bite your tongue. Don't do it. Just be kind. Live like Kason did, because he's the best example that you could look up to. I'm so proud to call my son in this life and the next. You're perfect, bud. I love you so much. And then his last day on this earth was my grandpa's birthday. He was born on my mom's birthday and passed on my grandpa's. And I know he's with him right now. And he's happy. His middle name is James. That was my grandpa's name. We named him Kason James after my grandpa Bowler. But God must have a plan for him. That's what I'm telling myself, because there's no way such a sweet boy, an amazing kid, had to go through what he went through and leave this life so early. If he didn't have some major big plans for Kason, maybe Kason's going to help defeat AI or whatever he's going to do, but I don't know. I hope you do, bud, but you are so loved. You're so special. I love you so much. You the best, bruh. Good night. Kaylin, our daughter, his brother, wants to say a few words.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this whole thing, but I'm going to try my very best. Kason is and always will be the smartest, sweetest, and caring kid I've ever met. When I didn't know how to do my math homework, my mom would have Kason come help me. And even though he's 5 years younger than me, he usually knew how to do it. Anytime I would ask him to use something of his, or if I could have some of his food or snacks, he always said yes. When we were younger, we were always playing games together, like Mario Kart, Pokemon games on the Nintendo, Just Dance, Minecraft, and so many more. And I remember when he started his YouTube channel, he stood outside of our house with a little paper that said, "Please subscribe to my YouTube channel." I'm not sure how well you could read it if you were passing by, but I know that gaming and his channel brought him so much joy, and he found a community that felt like home to him. Some of my favorite memories come from playing split-screen Minecraft with him. We would play for hours. We had our world that we just built so many houses and so many things. I was usually the one building. He was usually fighting and doing whatever you do. I don't know what you do in survival mode, but he had such a soft spot for people and animals, especially dogs. He adored our dog, Roxy. They were always cuddled up together. Our dog, Nellie, is a little too wild for his liking. I know he still loved her, but he definitely liked Roxy more. And I'm glad that he gets to see her again. I hope his kindness can carry on through all of us. I know that's what he would want. We all love you so much, Kason. And I don't know what happens after death, but I know you're in a better place. And I hope one day we'll all see you there you're the best brother I could ever ask for, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Rest easy, Papa. We all love you more than words could ever explain.
Kelsey and Lori have asked if there are any family members that would like to stand up and share a brief thought or happy memory of Kason. So we'd invite you to family members to come up and share a thought if you'd like to.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott. Kason was my nephew from Wisconsin. So we didn't get to see him as much as we wanted to. You know, life happens, people move. But he did, you know, family did get to come back and visit once in a while. And, you know, that was nice. I just wish we would have all been able to see each other more. And I wish I would have been able to get to know Kason better than I did. I asked things that remember about Kason, and for me, I remember always as him being younger. He had the biggest, beautiful eyes, just beautiful. And I'm biased; he's my nephew, but he was a cute kid. And another thing that I admired about him was he had a cute smile. And it was hard to explain, but it's kind of a shy smile, and he would kind of look away, and it would be like he was always 2 steps ahead of you laughing. Like, he's probably way smarter than me from the sounds of it, which I'm cool with, but he was probably like a couple levels past me on the joke already. And I know those are small things, but those always stuck with me about Kason. For the best memory I have of Kason, it's a family one. And if you know my side of the family, we're big into fishing. And I got to go out with my dad, who likes fishing. It's an understatement if anybody knows. And we had a really good family time. They came up by us, and my dad, of course, hey, let's go fishing. And I got to go out with my dad, my son Nathan, who's, I don't know exactly, 6 years or so, maybe a little more older than Kason, and we went out in the fishing boat with them. My son Nathan and Kason sat in the front fishing, and my dad and I were in the back. And Kason hooked into a really big fish. I don't remember the size of it, but it was a big fish, probably over 5 pounds, if I recall correctly. He had the rod in, and he's kind of like, I got a fish on, and his rod's like bent over in the water, and he was little at the time. And he's like freaking out, and my son Nathan came over and helped him, and he's like, I'll hold the rod, and you reel it in. So he's struggling and pulls it all in, and we get it in, and if you know my family, we get kind of excited about fish and big fish, and so my dad and I and my son were all like high-fiving each other, and Kason's kind of like, just like, yeah, that's cool, you know, kind of like, and that kind of seemed like his personality. He's just like a real chill dude, and that's cool. Another thing that I didn't know, Lori sent it out in the memo, that he hated people dressing up, and he's definitely related to me. I usually am casual, bordering on homeless look for my appearance, and I know if we would have hung out better, we would have probably been pretty good, same attire. Excuse me for a second. One other thing I wanted to mention was Kason was the baby in the family, and we all know babies in the family, they're not loved more, but they're loved differently. Lori was our baby sister, and we loved her differently. We were all there for her. Like, nobody's gonna mess with our baby sister, and she's the baby Kason's the baby grandson in our family. He's my baby nephew. He's Kaylin's baby brother, and he's their baby, and that just makes it that much harder. And all I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I'm kind of winging it here, losing my thoughts. Doesn't take much these days at my age. I just wanted to say to the Madsen family, and everyone, thank you for, Kason's time was way too short, but thank you for bringing him into our lives and letting us have experiences with him in the short time he was there. I hadn't seen him for a while before he passed, and Lori sent us some pictures, and I was like, what happened to Kason? He's like super tall now. He's like all grown. Where's my little buddy, that I remember. So, that's just one thing. And the other thing I just want to mention is, there's a lot of things about love and kindness, and, and I was saying how he's the baby in the family, and everyone's looking up to him. It's like we're some of us are maybe at the tail ends of our lives, and we're like, here's a 13-year-old kid that we can look up to and admire, and maybe Kason just had too big of a heart and felt things too much, and all I can say is we miss you, Kason, and we love you, and hopefully we can try to emulate and not become bitter like so many of us do when life treats us badly, and have a big heart like him, and love others. And there's not enough love in the world, and let's be like Kason.
Thank you all for coming. I'm Lisa, Kason's favorite aunt. I wanted to get up here soon because every time Kason would come over, I'd elbow my way to the front and give him a big hug and kiss. I'm very lucky to live in the same town as Kason and his family, so I got to spend a lot of time with him. Not enough. I have a lot of good memories of Kason, but one of my favorite ones, and one of the earliest ones, was Lori and Kelsey were working, and I was able to watch him and take him to his first parade. I think it was a Pioneer Parade, and Miriam and KK were there, and they're throwing out candy. The parade's throwing out candy, and Miriam and Kaylin and me were, scrambling to get the candy, and Kason sitting there looking and kind of looks at what's going on, and he'd pick up the candy and he'd just toss it back at the parade. Kason was a real special kid. So, another really good memory is spending a Halloween with Kason, and Lori and Kelsey and Kay would all come dressed up just beautifully, and I never was that organized. And Miriam, we'd go walk around the neighborhood and get candy. Kason never cared about candy. He just wanted to hang, I think, with us. So I just want to remember the good times because there were a lot of them with Kason. But I know some of them were not eating my cooking, not going thrift store shopping with us, and not having Spanish speaking contest. I know Kason knows we loved him and how important it is to be with the people you love. And I think I'll say what everyone else said is just take anything away from this. Just be kind, help each other, love each other. So, Kason's at peace now. Thank you for being here.
My name's Jared. I'm Kason's uncle, and if you can't tell, I'm Kelsey's brother. Just want to tell Kels, Lori, and Kaylin how much I love you and how much my family loves you and how much we love Kason. So, I think at the time when Kelsey found out he was going to be a dad, he was living with me. And I knew the immediate change that Kason made in his life. And the immediate joy he So, found out Kelsey was going to be a dad, and a few weeks later, I found out I was going to be a dad. Kason and my oldest daughter, Tyler, I think are like 6 weeks apart. So, of course, at that time, Kelsey and I were spending every waking moment together that we had that was free. It was always spent in the mountains. Like Kelsey said, we were trail camming, we were hunting. Those two kids literally have put more miles on boots than I bet anybody else in this room besides the few that, hunt with us. I remember at times, Kelsey and I would literally have like 80-pound packs on our back already. And those two kids, we'd wear them out, and those last, we'd always save some of the big, like, strenuous ones till the end, like, it was just beating ourselves up, but we thought it was fun. So at times, we probably had 100 pounds on our back, trudging for miles, and now look at both of us. We both know why we have horrible backs. I always remember Ty would complain a little. She'd be like, I don't want to go that far. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I never remember Kason complaining. Not once. You knew he didn't want to do it, but he wouldn't complain about doing it. That was just him. Never complained, never a bad word. Tyler's over there cussing me out, and Kason's telling her to be nice. Like other people have mentioned, Kason was the most loving, nice, and gentle person I've ever met. Never spoke a bad word about anybody. He was so kind. Here's a story. This was about, 2 weeks ago. It was the last time I saw Kason until last night. Kels and I, of course, were out in the shop working on a project. And Kason came up to visit, and he was hanging out with my 3 daughters. Tyler and Kason are the same age. They go to the same school. They've been together nonstop their whole lives. Michaela's my youngest. She just barely turned, what are you, 7 now? 6, 7, that's all I remember. And I walk in to go get me and Kelsey a glass of water, and Kason's laying down on the floor with her in a toddler Doc McStuffing couch. Like the little ones are like this big? He's got 2 Barbies in his hand and playing with my youngest daughter. And I look at him like, bud, what are you doing? Like, you don't have to do that. You can go play with Tyler. You can go play games. You can go, we've got so much stuff that you can do. And he looked at me and he's like, no, I want to play with her and I want to spend time with her. And that was Kason. I know. My girls loved him dearly. I loved him dearly. I'm going to miss you, bud.
Hi, I'm I just love Kason, and I'm gonna miss him. I just want everybody to be like Kason and be nice. Thank you. I love you.
If anybody knows Michaela, that's the only time I've ever heard her be quiet.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I am Kason's extremely close cousin, and I remember I've had so many favorite memories with him, but one of my favorite was when we were about 2 years old, we went hunting with our dads, and Kelsey shot this small buck that he probably shouldn't have shot, and they both carried us. I remember they were both carrying us on their backs, and then they put us down so we could see the deer, and it was a little 2-point. And we were so excited, so then we started holding the horns and saying, "Look at this, look at this." And I remember us trying to ride it, and that was one of my favorite memories, was us being so excited that we had this little 2-point. And then we asked our dads to take a photo shoot with it. We spent every free moment growing up together. We hunted and fished, running trail cameras with our dads, eating sandwiches with a lot of stuff and as many spicy chips as we could until our stomachs hurt. Our last camping trip together was a few months ago. We went to Enterprise Reservoir. Kason and my sisters stayed up late playing video games in his trailer. Myself and my sisters never played video games really, so we had Kason hold his controller upside down and he still kicked our butts in Mario Kart. And the last time I hung out with him was about a few weeks ago, and I remember we had this little toddler tent set up with the document stuffing couch that me and him would always sit on and watch home when we were younger. And I remember every time when he would come over, we would already have the little couch set out and popcorn and spicy chips to watch home. And I'm gonna miss him, and I love you, Kason.
Hi, my name is Avery. I'm Kason's cousin. I love him so much, and I hope everyone can be kind to everyone else.
I'm the other grandpa. I can tell, based on previous comments, I was his least favorite grandpa, but I loved him nonetheless. I appreciate all the positive things said today. I just want to add one brief comment. Kelsey made the statement of be kind, but that was Kason's way of life, but he had plenty of other B's. He was, you know, be humble, be honest, be all the other positive B's that we know him for. There was two words that came to my mind as I've reflected back on all of this over the past few days. And I'd just like to add, if I can piggyback onto Kelsey's be kind, is do more. We all know that there's many heartaches in the world, and we all know what the positives are. And are we putting enough positive light into the world so that we can negate the negatives? Let's all do more. Thank you.
I'm going to speak for myself and for my mom. Joyce is one of Kason's grandmas, and Kelsey's stepmom. Kelsey and I have been, when our parents married, we became brother and sister, and it's been about 30 years. It's been really great. But a couple of things that my mom, what stands out for her and is they had a dog, a German Shepherd dog named Ziba, and Kason loved Ziba so much. Anytime they came over, Kason just went right to Ziba. And also Joyce, she really enjoyed her lunch dates with Kason. She recalls going to Olive Garden with Kaylin and Kason, but if it was ever Kason's choice, it was always Mexican. So those were some really fun memories. And for me, this week, my mind has just been, for whatever reason, going back to when Kelsey and Lori were announced that they were having a baby. We were in town visiting, so we were all at our parents' house, and they came over, and Lori had made darling cupcakes with blue and pink sprinkles and just started passing them out, and we were just all so excited, and Kelsey and Lori were just beaming, and I know that changed all of our lives, but especially them, because you guys were the best parents. And before you even met Kason, you loved him so much. And one last thing, because I want to be really brief, is the last time we went to Ivan's Reservoir together, Kason was a little timid. He was really close to his mom, and now hearing Kelsey talk about how he loved the mountains, but he hated being dirty, that made so much sense, because like walking into the sand, it's like I'm kind of like that, where you have to just kind of like fight through feeling the dirt. So he sat by his parents for a minute, but finally got in the water and was playing and having a great time. And I just remember him having fun and just kept looking back at you guys with a big grin, and just, I don't know if it was assurance or just proud of himself or what, but he just loved you. He loves you guys so much, and you guys were the best parents for him. And he's been a blessing in all of our lives, and I know that we're all going to move forward with regret that we didn't spend more time together. But more than that, we're going to move forward with cherished memories and feeling blessed and feeling grateful for such a special kid. He's been special since the day he was born. And I'm just really grateful to have known him. And I look forward to when we can see him again and all be together again.
Hi, I'm Kason's grandma, Lori's mom. We live in Wisconsin, so we didn't get to see the kids as much as we would have liked to have. So, one time when we came, I'd say Kason was about 10 years old, and get to the house, and he goes, Grandma, I'm taking you out for dinner tonight, and I'm paying. I said, oh, okay. And he goes, you can pick the restaurant. I don't care, any restaurant that you want. Well, I knew he loved Wendy's at the time. And mindful of his pocketbook, I said, I have been craving Wendy's. I said, would that be okay if we went there? Grandma, I love Wendy's. So we went to Wendy's, and it was like I was on a prom date. He ordered for me. He was such a little gentleman. And we get done eating, and he goes, dessert, Grandma? I'm paying for it. You can have dessert, too, if you want it. Oh, I'm just too full, but thank you. He was so sweet. I mean, I know you've heard it all day, how kind and sweet he was, but he really was. That was Kason's. How many 10-year-old kids are going to take their grandma out to lunch? It was so sweet. It was just wonderful. So we're going to all miss him. Not for the free lunches, but, just having him as a presence in our life. But Kason, we'll see you later.
Man, this is hard. I really, really loved Kason. He's a great young man. Him and I got along really well. You don't really know him till you get to spend a whole day with him, and then you find out what he's about. He's not a good kid. He was an awesome person, full of love and kindness, and he had adventure in him too. He liked to get out and do stuff. He just needed a little encouragement, I'd take him out and we'd play baseball and jump on the tramp, and he loved that. And then we figured out you could shock each other if you scooted around the tramp, and we'd try to see who could shock each other the hardest. And it just had a lot of fun. And yeah, he didn't like the dirt, but I know that because I took him places and we'd get dirty, and right away he's like, well, we got to go back now. But he liked to go down to the river with our dog, and he'd throw the stick, and Gigi would run and get it, and he just thought that was so neat. And Gigi would come running towards him in 50 miles an hour in case it would stop. And I'm freak out, but then Gigi always stopped, and he'd throw the stick again. And we found some clay along the river, and we dug it out, and we made these little clay pots and cups and stuff, and took them home and dried them in the sun. He just thought that was neater than heck, and it's the only time I saw him get dirty. But then, of course, he had to wash his hands right after. Couldn't stay dirty. And I just want to tell him I love him. I wish I'd told him more. And the theme, like Kelsey said, just be kind. And if you see somebody who needs help, help them. And I know the Lord set him on this earth so that we're better people because of it. And love you, Kason, and thank you, guys.
I was not planning on doing this, so bear with me. I'm Kason's aunt, the real favorite aunt. Sorry. He couldn't let it down to Lisa, so I hate to break it to you. Because he always wanted to please everyone. I never get to see him, and so when I would come to visit, Lori would always have him in tow, and he was always such a good sport. And then later here I find out, I told her this last Christmas, I said, I'm just so glad, that you guys are coming over and I get to spend time with him. And she said, oh, I bribed him with McDonald's and we're going to stop and go pick up. I said, if we just stay a little bit longer, I'll pick up whatever you want from McDonald's. And we're a very competitive family, so we would play games, and he would play with the losing team. Even though we all wanted him on our team, he would play with the guys' team, sorry, because nobody else wanted to play with them. But my favorite memory is my sisters. They're very generous, and so every time I would come home, they would let me go through their closet, and they'd have all these new outfits for me. And so Kason and I invented this game called Keep It or Trash It. And he would make these little signs, and I would go and try on all of their clothes, and he'd hold up the sign, and we'd all have signs that he made, like, this is great, keep it, trash it. And but he'd always go with what Lori and Lisa would go with. And because I don't think he wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. But this outfit, thank you, Kason. You picked this out. So, but I hope to be half the person that Kason is in his life. Should be cherished and treasured because he's such a good person. And thank you for everyone who has supported us and be here to support Kason, because he is such a treasure that we're going to miss dearly.
We'd like to thank everyone for sharing their thoughts and memories about Kason. We'd also like to thank all those who have expressed their love and appreciation for everything that's been done behind the scenes. For those who have donated flowers, food, financial help, and especially your love and concern and support for Kelsey and Lori. We'll next follow with a closing prayer by Kelsey Madsen, after which we'll have the closing of the casket.
Our dear God and Savior, you put the most perfect boy into our arms, who we love with our entire hearts. We will try and live by the example that Kason set for us every day. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be his father in this life, in all eternity. Kason, I know you said you're happy with Grandma Etta, Roxy and family. But please let Grandma and Grandpa Bowler, especially Grandpa, teach you how to work in the garden like we did. Grandma, Grandpa Madsen, Grandma, please watch after him. Make him lots of good Christmas treats all the time. Grandma Annie, Grandpa Hub, please bring lots of music and singing to him up there. Grandma Lisi, Grandma Ollie, Uncle Kirk, please keep him fed. Uncle Soup. Please teach him more about horses. Uncle David, please show the love that you always showed. Give him some tractor rides. Uncle Rick, keep his passion for cars going. Cousin Kyle, Cousin Ricky, and Roxy girl, please look after him. Kason, we love you. All of our friends and family, please reach out to someone to help Kason until we're all together again. And Kason, please just be like you are and wait for us. Mom, you have my son now. Please watch after him until we're all together again. I miss you and love you so much. God, please ask that you accept Kason's body and spirit into your arms and protect him. He's our baby boy. And I know you'll have him do great things in this afterlife if we're having to take him too soon. Rest in peace, our sweet boy. Until we meet again, please comfort us and be with us as much as you're able to, because we love you so, so much. In your name, amen.
This concludes the service for Kason. For the family members who are here, there is a luncheon prepared that you can stay for. We'd like to thank everyone for coming.